Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Motorhead Garage is presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Rocking out here at Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Well, since Matt and Mouseblocker were here last time, I've had more questions about this product than any other. And I can tell you, Matt, you've been inundated with customers since you were last on this show because Mouseblocker is such a good idea. It does what it says. It keeps mice out of your vehicle. First of all, why do mice get into vehicles and why do they start chewing the wires in the first place?
Cars are an unbelievable place for a mouse to build a nest. I mean, it's protected from the environment, protected from the owls and the birds and the cats and the snakes. So we make that nice, safe, warm, comfortable engine compartment violent with these products. That's what drives the mice out.
And we should be clear, this isn't violent to human beings, but to the mouse, makes things very uncomfortable.
That's correct. These hit as high as 115 decibels, so similar to what you or I would feel with a jackhammer. That's what's shaking the rodent up from the inside out.
A lot of folks say that the soy-wrapped wires are kind of a culprit.
There is some truth to it. When they chew on it, it doesn't taste as bad as it used to when it was petroleum-based. The mice are teething constantly, so they're looking for anything to chew on. Wiring happens to be everywhere in today's vehicle, and with the engine covers hiding a harness, the harness is the first thing that they chew on as they're trying to trim their teeth. It makes a very costly repair.
And the softest thing in there is the wiring, so naturally they go for that first.
Exactly.
Well, let's talk about how you solve the problem with Mouseblocker. There's the original.
The classic one, this one actually hits at 85 decibels. It works very, very well in small spaces. So our motorcycle dealers, John Deere, our tractor companies use this very well. Nice small spaces, simple 12-volt hookup right to a battery, works all the time, it's whisper quiet. This thing is wonderful.
Now for automobiles or larger vehicles, you've got another unit that works similarly.
Exactly. So these are our Pro models. We have a 12-volt version and a plug-in version for something that's in storage longer than 10 days. These act like 200 of these.
Wow.
These had actually hit at 115 decibels, so they're very, very intense, and that uses our proprietary eviction mode. So if you've somebody with a current rodent problem and you want to drive them out, or you're trying to drive out more intelligent rodents, rats and squirrels, that's where the Pro models actually really excel.
Now that goes actually inside the vehicle.
That's correct.
Under the hood. If you're going bigger and you want to protect your garage space, then you've got this unit here.
Yep, the 1000 is designed to protect a two-car garage. And this is completely redesigned with new long-range style speakers, whisper quiet so it doesn't bother anybody, but it actually projects an uncomfortable environment in a large space.
And how does that compare then noise-wise with the smaller unit there?
So the smaller units are very loud and many people can hear them. We did that on purpose because we're taking away the things that the rodent makes comfortable. So with flashing lights and a loud noise, and we're starting to remove their senses. That's how these work. This attacks their central nervous system. So this shakes them from the inside out, making them uncomfortable in this space around the car. This is step one, drive them out of the car. Step two, drive them out of the garage.
It's the Pied Piper leading them right on out
Exactly,
there. Perfect.
exactly.
Now you can go even bigger now for those of you who have a bigger space. You said this covers 1,000 square feet?
1,000 square feet.
So those of you who have larger collections and you know who you are, or maybe you even have a factory and you want to protect it from mice, tell me what's going on here.
So this is our newest unit, and this is for the people with larger car collections, shops, automotive shops, and warehouses and factories. These comes with 10 surround sound speakers. This is designed for up to 12,000 square feet using same long-range technology.
What's some of the feedback you get from customers that buy Mouseblocker?
The feedback's unbelievable. I mean, we're really solving a problem. And it's simple, you know, $100 or $200 price point. It's less expensive than the simplest automotive repair. You know, if you have to take your car to the shop and have it diagnosed, a simple deterrent can protect you from that.
Well, you're going to love it. It's going to save you a ton of money. By the way, 10 out of 10 mice hate it. It's called the Mouseblocker. You can find it at mouseblocker.com. And you can find more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings right after this.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by RockAuto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. BrothersTrucks.com, your #1 source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GMC truck restoration. Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. Forest River Incorporated, follow the river. And by Oil Undercoating, the official oil-based rust prevention system.
This is Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. If your vehicle has a turbocharger, it also has an intercooler. Well, you may have heard the term before, but maybe you're not quite sure what it actually does. Eric is an expert here. He's from Pacific Performance Engineering. Eric, why do we have an intercooler? What does it do?
We have an intercooler to basically reduce the intake air temperature. We have turbochargers, they create boost, which creates heat, and the intercooler's job is to remove that heat, creating a denser air charge as the air enters your engine.
More dense air means more horsepower.
And better fuel economy at the same time.
And at Pacific Performance Engineering, you found that the Duramax engine with a lot of GM trucks goes down on power when that air gets hot. Why is that?
The computer system is constantly monitoring all aspects of the engine. And what they do is if they sense overheating in any area, power is heat. So they pull back the power in an effort to save the motor, save the transmission, all of it. We found this area requires a little attention. So we made a intercooler core that's 2.4 times greater volume, and it reduces the intake air temperatures and really does a good job. We went with a bar and plate style. We've got the end castings, so it's a really efficient design. It's probably the most efficient design for heat transfers today. By having more volume, it has a longer time before it gets heat soaked or heat saturated.
I've got the instructions here and your intercooler kit. I've looked at this. First of all, I love the instructions. Lots of photos and everything to show me exactly what I'm doing. How easy is this to install?
We've got all the parts, so it's a complete kit. There's the new designed cradle, there's all of the silicone hoses, the clamps, and there's a little bit of hardware and a couple coolant hoses here. Now, a lot of people know intercoolers, and the first thing they think of is something that's very large and looks like a radiator. This design here with GM on the 3-liter, it's air to liquid heat transfer. So there's actually the coolant lines here, the clamps are associated with it. You've got the ducting that the air travels through. But it's all condensed in a really small package that's really efficient.
I know a lot of folks think this is major surgery to their vehicle. How much do you guys use the OEM holes and bolts and that sort of thing?
There's a little bit of hardware that we reuse. We reuse all the sensors, but basically it's a good Saturday morning project. Get your other one unbolted, take it off, and just step by step, pop it all in.
And it's not just the intercooler itself, also the hoses and everything that goes on it. You've given a lot of thought to how those are constructed as well.
Yeah, on the inlet side of it, there's a billet aluminum part, there's a coupler hose that install up there. And then on the exit side, there's a reducer. Now on the silicones, we've got 6mm 5-ply, and they're UV resistant. They've got a fluoro liner, so it's resistant to chemicals and oil and fuel. So they're really durable, long-lasting parts.
One question I forgot to ask you, Eric, how does the pressure coming out of the PPE intercooler compare to the OEM intercooler?
The design gives a 17% more efficient airflow.
So more efficient all the way around. If you want to get more power out of your Duramax, head to PPEpower.com. They've got the solution for you. There are chemicals and solvents out there you can use to separate seized parts, maybe a bolt or something like that. But of course, those chemicals can be messy, they can stink, and they can be very caustic. And another solution, you can use open flame to maybe heat something up and loosen it. But if you've seen anybody do that, you've no doubt seen them catch something on fire. So that's not always the greatest idea, especially when you're working around fuel lines and that sort of thing. Well, Induction Innovations has a solution. Now, their tools use induction, that is to say, they're using a magnetic field to create heat. And Induction Innovations is the original heat induction tool. They started over 2 decades ago, and they hold the patent for this technology. What makes Induction Innovations tools more efficient and safer? Well, they only heat ferrous metals, and they only heat what's within the coil. Everything around it stays cool to the touch. You can use induction to remove emblems, moldings, decals, and residues from adhesives. No solvents needed. The Mini Ductor is one of their most popular tools. It runs on 12 volts, so perfect for roadside work. It comes with 3 coils. One of them is preformed. The other 2 are 23 and 41 inches long, respectively. You can use those to form your own coils to suit any needs you might have. For example, if you're removing an O2 sensor, first, of course, always be sure to wear gloves. Then you wrap the coil around, you plug in the leads, and you turn it on. If the coil's locked in, the lights will turn green. If not, the lights will stay red, so you know you have a good connection there. You want the coils to be as close as you can to the item you want to heat, but you don't want to touch it. If it does touch, it's not dangerous, but it can burn the insulation off the coil, and it is recommended you replace the coil after that. Remember, if you take good care of the coil, it'll be good for a long, long time, between 100 and 200 uses. You can use a tool from Induction Innovations over and over, but it's recommended that you run it for 2 minutes, then let it cool for 2 minutes, and that's another way to make sure that tool is going to last. Now, Induction Innovations handheld units are 1,000 watts, except for the Venom HP, it's 1,800 watts. And they also have a 2K inductor line. Those are all 2,000 watts, and those are great for removing windshields and spraying bed liners and that sort of thing. Just think how great it would be to have one of these maybe in an automotive salvage yard or when you're doing a restoration project. And also, a lot of folks in PDR, or paintless dent repair, are using tools from Induction Innovations. Now, it doesn't replace all the tools they normally use, but they can use it as another tool in their arsenal. Just hold the tool at the crown of the dent and it'll pop right out. Of course, it takes practice, and you should start on a junk car before you do it for the first time, and certainly before you work on any customer's vehicle. And I mentioned you can get 100 to 200 uses out of a coil. That's not too shabby, but new coils only cost about 20 bucks, so that works out to be less expensive than fuel for a torch. Tools from Induction Innovations work faster than the old-fashioned way. They're safer for you, and they're easier on tools. They won't break any screwdrivers or breaker bars trying to get parts loose. You can use tools from Induction Innovations near brake lines, fuel lines, near electrical systems, and even plastic parts. They're great for tight spaces, especially in conjunction with the long coil kit. You can bend the coils any way you want to and get into those hard-to-reach spaces, and you can't do that with an open flame. You'll find all kinds of uses for tools from Induction Innovations. You can find them at theinductor.com. And you can find more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings when we come back.
Dragonfire Tools, quality affordable storage. Proud sponsor of our DragonfireTools.com studio.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Everybody loves Jeeps. They love how they get you out into the open air. And one of the first things they do, Chuck, is they're going to take the doors off to enjoy the breeze. Well, then what happens?
So you want to get you some foot pegs so you can put your foot out, enjoy the breeze, and that's what we've done. We've made Jeep foot pegs. They clip on to where your hinge is. We've laser cut them out of 3/16 steel, bend them at 20 degrees so they're ergonomic, they feel comfortable. And we powder coat them. They're durable, they're heavy duty, they work really well.
In Profab TN, you guys make all kinds of different foot pegs, all kinds of different designs. How many different designs do you have in stock?
We probably actually stock around 20 designs. Obviously, we take on custom orders regularly. So if your Jeep has a theme or anything like that, we can match your theme, accommodate you in any kind of way, color match, all that.
When you to match the theme, they want a piece to go with it. How do they go about it?
Well, they usually send emails. They tell me what their theme is and what they ultimately want. And then we start into the design process and try to make sure everything fits their budget and their liking and all that. Once everything's approved, we manufacture the pegs, get them coated, and send them out.
As the name would indicate, you're located in Tennessee. Everything is made in the USA. Everything's designed in the USA. How important is it for you to be able to offer an American-made product?
Oh, it's extremely important. We do everything in-house, from the laser cutting, powder coating, any kind of press brake or machining operations, welding.
What about installation? Taking the doors off easy. You just lift them off the hinges. Now what for the foot pegs?
Oh, they slip right on, tighten the bolt up, you're ready to ride.
The foot pegs aren't just for looks, they're also for safety.
That's right. The first thing I noticed whenever I took my doors off is when you're driving around, it kind of feels unsafe. When you get your foot outside the door, it kind of stabilizes you and gives you something to hold on to.
Gives you a wider stance and a dead pedal to rest your foot on. And there's another safety consideration you've taken care of as well. You take off the doors, you don't have a mirror.
That's the second thing I noticed. In changing lanes in traffic, going through town, that's a serious problem. So we pretty much use the same design and put a mirror on it.
Now, along with the foot pegs here, I see you've got tail light covers. Same sort of thing there, your custom designs?
It's custom designs. You fit your theme. So that's the thing with Jeeps, is everybody wants a theme, they want a color, so that's what we do there.
And you brought a bracket with you for the doors, because once you get those off, you need a place to put them.
That's right, and the last thing you want to do is have your doors sitting around in the garage, falling over, busting a window, or worse, damaging the paint. Find a stud, screw it to the wall, it's rated to hold the weight. You can hang your driver and passenger side door. Obviously, if you got a 4-door you want to get to.
Couldn't be simpler on that design. And there's all kinds of designs. If you go to profabtn.com, you can find what they have in stock. You can also get something custom made for your Jeep. NHOU Protective Coatings is the fastest and least expensive way to add value and safety to your vehicle. And we're talking old vehicles that have rust on them already. What are the options with a new vehicle that someone brings into you?
NHOU has products for all stages of life of your vehicles from top to bottom. So when it comes to a new vehicle, you could either just do the regular oil undercoating, or we have a process that we call Boss Wax.
And you had a customer come in recently with a really hot new vehicle, the new Ford Bronco. What was he looking to accomplish when he brought it to you?
He wanted a permanent solution with a lifetime warranty.
I had just gotten delivery on this brand new Bronco. The last time I had anything undercoated was my 2008 Toyota Tacoma. And even that process didn't work out as well as I thought, because my frame still ended up rotting out. After I did my research, I jumped on YouTube, and like anybody else, comparing all these other products out there, I came across this New Hampshire oil undercoating with this Boss Wax. And they said, we have technicians here that will apply this waxy product that hardens, perfect for new vehicles. The cost is a little more, but you just spent $60,000 on a new truck. I'm sure you want to protect your investment. Threw my Bronco in the back of a car trailer, and we made our trek. And then after seeing the process work and how it's applied and the value of it, I think this is something every person who has a vehicle in the Northeast where you're exposed to corrosion has to have it done.
If it's worth owning, it's worth protecting. Go to NHOilUndercoating.com to find out how. And you can find more Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings when we come back. See you in a minute.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. Electric e-bikes, the most accessible and adventurous e-bikes ever. Tribotex, make your engine last longer. Lightspeed Racing, ultra lightweight wheels. And by Dragonfire Tools, industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage.
Here in the lab at NHOU Protective Coatings, Joe DuPont is always working on improving the product. But Joe, products aren't the only thing you're working on all the time here at the business.
No, we're actually going to try to improve the customer experience along with the comprehensive packages. So we're going to now get into franchising. And we're going to offer that in a couple of different ways. We're going to have a brick and mortar franchise, we're going to set up similar to this. And we're going to offer mobile undercoating franchises where you can buy the package complete, ready to go. Somewhere in the vicinity of about $60,000. But we're not just going to offer them a ready-made, fairly successful business model. We're trying to partner now, and we're very close to partnering with Decker. We're going to offer them financial literacy, time management, customer service. We're going to give them ongoing educational training on how to be successful. So if they start off as a mobile, like many of our mobile dealers have, they will likely evolve into a brick and mortar. And we're going to give them the financial wherewithal to be able to do that.
And how do you give them a financial start as well? You're giving them all the training and everything.
First off, we're going to have a package that's going to run probably $60,000, and we're going to finance at no interest charge half of that. At less than the cost of a trade school, you can get a ready-made business. And this is an industry that has very huge potential. The growth for us has been, if you take the whole of our existence, double every year.
Your motivation is not really to make money for Joe DuPont. Your motivation is to help other people, and that's one thing I really love about the way you operate.
Actually, when I looked at the business model, I was not excited about just doing this for people that wanted financial gain. I'm sure I can make a lot of money with them, but I'm really passionate about helping, especially the younger generation, become leaders, entrepreneurs, successful, self-sufficient, independent, and that's almost pay enough for me, but we will make money because we are a successful business model.
Well, this is a family-run business here at NHOU Protective Coatings, and you can become part of the family too. Go to NHOilUndercoating.com and find out how. At DragonfireTools.com, you can find the tool storage solution that is right for you. Lou, how does it become more versatile when you start marrying everything together?
This year, we've come up with some new products. One of the new products is this lower corner unit and this upper corner unit. So if you're trying to come along two walls in your shop or garage, you're going to be able to marry a workbench to the corner unit on either side, and you fill that space effectively.
And I love this. You're talking efficiency. If you're a pro, of course, time is money. and you can bring your workpiece. If you're working on an engine, you bring it right here, and everything you need is just a step away, which is wonderful. And then if you're at home too, it's compact. It brings all your tool storage together, and that maximizes your space as well.
Yeah, from the efficiency standpoint, having your workbench as your toolbox is definitely the way to go. No more walking back and forth and wasting all that time. Having your tools right where you're working at, that's efficient.
The workbenches are the centerpiece of what you do at DragonfireTools.com, and this is your most popular unit right there. Tell me about that.
So this is our 20-drawer Midnight Pro Series workbench. One of the innovative things about this workbench that we've changed for this past year is now we have 6 wide drawers in it. You have 2 thin drawers and you have 2 deep drawers in this workbench. You also have a 14-gauge tubular steel all-welded construction, a 304 stainless steel top, 16-gauge galvanized steel drawer bodies, and drawers rated for 200 and 400 pounds.
The workmanship is second to none, and a system like this is going to maximize your space and make your workday a lot more efficient. Go to DragonfireTools.com, find out what's right for you. And oh, by the way, there's a promo code for Motorhead Garage viewers. Promo code Motorhead will get you free shipping and a discount as well. Thanks for coming along with us here on Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. Of course, we'll be here next week, and in the meantime, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. From our entire crew here in our Dragonfire Tools studio, we'll see you next time. So long.